And all right, cool. Let me see if there's anything else I want to optimize on this in case we do play any video. Okay, I'll share in a bit. Let me go ahead and share. I know we'll jump right in because I know we want to give you as much opportunity as possible to really learn from your own writing, but really learn really new material, right? New things, but using kind of your own writing.
Yeah.
So this is kind of our game plan today. So I think you were going to finish the story,
Hmm.
and I really like how you filled in these details. It takes me along, and I feel like you're you're moving from one part of your story to the next, like in the airport. Um, and so I think what could be helpful um, at times we'll need to add transitions, especially if we're moving from a flashback. Um, I like how you drove right into the. Let me jump right in here. So immediately I run to open my laptop, eagerly waiting for my laptop. Um, Wait a minute. Is this? It seems like I saw something different than this. Okay, let me do this. Mhm. Yeah, it's this one right here. For some reason on my phone, I'm seeing one that's different, and it's
Oh,
you've
really?
written some notes to yourself. Yeah, let me see that. Brookdale, San Jose. Okay, let's do this. Brookdale.
Brookdale?
Dale?
Brookdale.
I, for some reason, I see that. Yeah, Brookdale. Ah, yes.
Oh,
So,
I think
I
like you have
think
to
like
like
you have to like
scroll down
scroll
or like
down.
make. I made like another document because this had like my notes in it. Or like I think it's just in another tab, like tab 3 or 2.
Got it.
Oh no,
Okay.
it is the
I think
same. I think it's the same writing though. Let me check.
okay. So you're probably talking about well, I don't actually see typically I'll see two documents in the Google Classroom. But the one that I'm looking at right now with
Hmm.
yeah, this is the one that's as the assignment, and then the other one is just in the drive. And I'm going to kind of take a look at what folder it might be in. So organize. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it seems like this is a separate document. And so what I think I will do, I can go into the assignment and kind of add, I can add this in, I think. Um,
Oh yeah,
so I'm going
can
to go back. What's
I
that?
tried to edit it on like the thing that you sent? Because you sent like
Hmm?
a different one saying to submit there, I think. To like submit work here. Like the title thing was a bit different.
Yeah, my favorite mistake.
Oh, no, like the add my something, like submit your work here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Okay, we know we have that, and we're going to go here. So let's edit this. And I'm going to see if I can just go to the drive. That may not be it. I think it's this one right here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me save that. Yeah. One thing I'm not good at, and I thought I was good at it when I taught, and I use Google Classroom all the time, but for some reason, I'm not sure what I did. So yeah, it's going to be there now under my favorite mistake.
Okay.
And all right, so that's what we have here. Let me just get rid of most of these and just start from scratch here. So we have the session document. We have this, my favorite mistake. And what I will do is, I'm sure that you have it open already.
Hmm.
Um, I'll just drop it in the chat just for convenience, and that way you can kind of work in it. Okay. So I sent it in the chat so you can open it up.
Yeah.
And so, and then I'm going to look at the timing of this because I have a timestamp also, and I'll look at that. No, that's not what I'm trying to look at. This is what I'm trying to look at. Okay. Recent. And it looks like this one here. Yeah, this is the latest. Yeah, that is the latest one because I remember that night I was in Los Angeles and you were working on it a little bit after. And I know you were trying to get ready for your trip. So kudos to you for hanging in there and working on that. That's very admirable. All right, here it is. And these were kind of notes I think you were making to yourself, perhaps.
Yeah.
Um, and then entering Brookdale, San Jose was my respite after the last day of final exams, the chill, the AC, cool. All right, so this is kind of more of the present, right? Okay, so you put a note to change instead, start with conversation with elderly person.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so is that your decision? So basically, if we were to put this in time, would you say that this is the present?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, you were going to dive right in.
Hmm.
And okay, so my question, I'm asking myself if I let you go through and kind of tell me the story as you see it. In other words, not necessarily reading each part of it, but just talking to me about, okay, this section here is what I want to go with.
Hmm.
This section here, I do have some thoughts that are coming back to me about this, and they had to do um, with you not really wanting to admit to her that
Yeah.
this wasn't your first choice. Okay, and I think um, we agreed that that's a deep way to start. It's an interesting way to start, but I want to make sure it's the way that you want to start. Um, the other thing we could do is just write these parts and then fill in those finer details afterwards,
Hmm.
right? So I'm wondering if it might be more helpful because I don't want that to be my idea. I don't want it to be me saying, okay, you should say this, you should say that, unless you can find a different way. And today I'm going to teach you something where you can actually explore the uh, the connections between things that don't seem to go together. And I did this really powerfully last week with my other creative writing student who's working on her college essay.
Hmm.
And she was really struggling with just not liking her draft, but also I gave her an outline, and in the outline, um, it doesn't feel like the writing wasn't really coming together for her, which is very common, uh, because your writing wants to do something totally different, and it seems like, wait a minute, can I really make an outline that really captures the true essence of this story? Um, I think there's a way you can. So what we did, in the parts that she was stuck, I actually asked her about those parts of the story. I said, okay, so what's what did you feel here? Like what was the negative part of your journey, that what lesson did you learn about this problem you were going through at the time when you were a kid? And then she said, well, this is what happened. That's what happened. The other thing happened. So I just kind of wrote it down for her. And then afterwards, we went back to her draft and we filled in those parts that were kind of like not gelling together.
Hmm.
And I feel like the part that were maybe I'm stuck at, but not necessarily you, because this is your story, right? The part I'm asking myself is, number one, do we talk about her uh, coming to you and saying, let me see, received bombarded dozens of elderly folks asking how my finals went, what I had done during the week, blah, blah, blah. Tried doing with me already a combo or describe what she's wearing. That's why she asked me, wondered if her teeth were pink. I said, okay. Um, yeah. So let me show you kind of what I'm talking about. And so it could be, let's capitalize. I'm a big fan of doing headings. Um, all right, we're going to call this setting the stage. And I think what you're doing is um, you're introducing this character. In my story mind, I'm asking myself, how can we get this to where she's asking you a question like, have you always, hey, honey, this is her talking to you, right? This is the way older people talk. Um,
Hmm.
honey, or whatever she calls you. Have you always wanted to be part of the crochet club? And I see that you enjoy working with, folks like me,
Hmm.
that are retired. And rather than tell her, no, this wasn't really my first choice, right? Um, you're kind of embarrassed. You don't really want to admit that.
Hmm.
And then the whole point of this, the rest of the story is really showing your transformation into somebody who learned her lesson. Maybe photography wasn't the thing that she got to do, and crocheting was that thing, but you made the best of it. And you don't necessarily have to come through at the end of the story and say to her, hey, this is what happened. Like, you're taking the reader through that. That's okay. Her character doesn't really have to know that whole story. You might just smile at her at the end of this flashback and say, well, some things are just meant to be, right? Or something to that effect. You're not really going to know until, you write that part of it.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts about this? Um, anything I've mentioned in terms of story?
I like it, and I can like imagine like the middle of the story. I just don't know how to like start it.
Okay, start that part of the story, start the beginning, the start, like the real beginning of the story. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm going to say is let's let's just lay it down. Let's lay down the tracks. It's like a story train, right? If we have to, we can move those tracks, but let's get that train moving down. And the train will circle around, do a second trip around the circle. That'll be revision. And at that point, if we want to shift things over, we can. So let's go ahead to the story and kind of outline it. And at some point, I'm going to teach you what I've been doing here because you're probably wondering yourself, like, what am I really learning here? Am I really learning about stories? Right. And I can assure you, you are. We'll go back to that. This is kind of like experiential learning. Toward later on, I'll say, hey, by the way, this is what we were actually doing. So, okay. So, um, I think this is a good way to start actually, um, because, um, because you do need to set the stage, you know. However, I'm going to do something here. Um, so let's move some of this part here.
Hmm.
Um, we're going to move all that. Little story surgery here. Okay, that's fine. It's on caps for some reason. Okay, great. All right. What I'm doing here, now I'm teaching you. Yeah, generally we're setting the stage. However, good stories start with the action. So I'm going to put everything that we're doing in brackets. This is stuff we're going to remove. But just between you and me, right?
Hmm.
It's just your story writer notes. Here, jump, uh, jump into the action. Now, and include an inciting incident. Okay, what is that? Why is that important?
It like
If you
draws.
think about what's
Hmm.
that? Go ahead.
It like draws the reader in. Like they don't get bored immediately when they read it.
Yes. Yes. Okay. It doesn't even have to be good right now because when we're laying down those tracks, let's just put something down. We can come back to it. That's the beauty of writing. I'm so excited because introductions, for example, are always the last thing I do. But you can write, we are going to write it now just so it's there so you can feel like, okay, I got my intro. Yes, we're going to fix it, but at least it's done. I can feel good about that. It's bothering me so I can focus on the rest of the story. Like I know I've been there. So jump into the action, include an inciting incident. Okay, an inciting incident, what that is, and I'll put some other brackets here. An event that throws the main character into the point of no return. And I assure you, they do this in every movie you will ever watch. Why? Because that's what gets you involved in the movie. You're not involved in the movie because you want to see what happens in the end. I mean, you are, but there's always a reader question. Like you see a character. Okay, so in this instance, I'm not going to go off on a big long tangent. So you can say a conversation with the elderly person. So, what? Let's give her a name. So, does she have a name? Sandra,
Sure.
right?
Hmm.
Sandra wore a pendant. And this is terrible story writing, but I'm just going to just lay it down just as quickly as possible with her granny voice and a gleaming smile, radiant green, green eyes. Put a hand on my wrist and asked. Okay. Now she greeted you in towards the common room. Okay. We're going to come back to that because I don't want to waste what you wrote here. I think it's good. I think it's it needs to be there because you're telling us where we are.
Hmm.
But we're going to get to that. Um, and asked, have you always wanted to crochet with retired gills? Like me.
Hmm.
I took. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm showing your reaction. Okay. I want to show that you're nervous,
Hmm.
not tell the reader. I took a deep breath in. Well, in a way, you're sort of lying, but you're sort of not, right? Okay. When we do dialogue, for example, you probably already know this. When a new speaker speaks, it has to be a new paragraph. So that's
Yeah.
what I did here. Okay. I took a deep breath in. Well, in a way, all right, now we're going to use some of this right here.
Hmm.
Now this is episodic. Now, episodic means we're giving the reader little teasers, like little appetizers, like
Hmm.
little breadcrumbs, and stringing them along into our story. But here, we kind of want to let them know where they are, right? So it's like we're providing a plate, some other goodies, right? For their story-like senses. So um, I was almost relieved when dozens of elderly folks poured through the door and into the dining room where we were stationed. We sat. Notice I'm in the past tense too,
Hmm.
always in the past tense when it comes to stories. Um, you can certainly break that rule, but when you're familiar with the rule, when you know a rule very well, you can break it if you have a good reason.
Okay.
Okay. They were her friends here at Brookdale in San Jose. Is that a retirement community?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crochet time. Was it crochet time?
Yeah, if you're like crocheting or like just playing like bingo and cards and stuff.
Okay. Crochet was looking way to bingo. Okay. Sandra kept her arm, hand on my wrist and said, we'll catch up soon. Okay. All right, so far, what do we need to add? What do we need to get rid of? What do we need to change over here? Thoughts?
Like, will you just immediately go to like the transition between like this scene, like if this scene ends and like the next scene,
Yeah.
will it seem out there like random?
You when this switches to which scene? Are you talking about the
Like,
airport?
yeah,
Are you asking about the transition, how we should handle that?
yeah. Like also, wait, I like everything. Wait, the beginning, this,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
So you believe that's the beginning?
Wait, wait, what are you asking?
Well, I'm just asking you what you think so far because
Oh,
I kind of want to see if you know where we're going and if you like it or if you think I should do something different. I think that's the real question. Just with what I've done here.
yeah, no, I see where you're going. Like, yeah, it seems more like intriguing if you just immediately start with that.
Okay. All right, that's good. What we're doing here
Mhm.
so far, everything has been expressive writing. So we often will combine expressive, reflective. So here you're expressing, right? You're showing. But here you're telling us what it means. I wasn't sure I wanted to hurt her feelings by telling her this wasn't my first choice. But neither was it something I believe happened by accident. Okay, are we good so far? Is that good?
Yeah.
And that kind of really brings in that kind of transitions to this part that you wrote about. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, that part there. Um, during bingo, her friends Okay. Definitely you should, you know, change this however you like.
Mhm.
It's more of a teaching tool that I'm doing now. So, um,
Yeah.
and it's called Write Like This. So it's kind of our way of saying this is how you might do it. It's not by all means necessarily the best way,
Mhm.
but it's a way. Um, okay. Do you want to include this comedic bit over here about teeth? It's up to you. I think it's kind of funny, but
Yeah.
you may feel that it's not necessary. I don't know. Okay. Sandra explained that this was probably my favorite extracurricular activity, period. Her mouth opened wide, comma, and I wondered if her teeth were fake, period. Perhaps she was related to George Washington, who was reputed to have wooden teeth, period. Right. You totally get rid of this if this is not you, right? Um, I'm just having a good time here. Please stop. Okay. All right. So we have a transition point here, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm trying to remember if there's a rule for this or not. Um, well, I think the transition point is actually you reflecting upon um, the answer to her question, right?
Mhm.
Um, her smile was contagious, comma, and I found myself laughing as well. Period. During a lull in the activity, comma, I pondered how I should answer her question, comma, and my mind went back to 2 years earlier. Okay, I think this is an okay transition.
Mhm.
It works because it's kind of a cliffhanger,
Yeah.
right? All right, so at this point, 2 years earlier, ding. Immediately I run to my laptop, eagerly waiting for my it to load so I can finally read the welcoming email for the upcoming year's clubs. Opening the email, I scratched my head, wondering if this was a mistake. Okay. Um, so that's a flashback. And then you have the airport scene 3 months earlier.
Like this scene is getting the results of like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's telling you that you're in the crochet club, not the camera club, photography club. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I ran to open my laptop. You're waiting for it to load so I could finally read the welcoming email for the upcoming year's clubs. Opening the email, I scratched my head, wondering if this was a mistake. Okay. Yeah. What's missing here is you want to say something like, I was going to be in the crochet club, and my mouth dropped.
Mhm.
Further suspense. Okay, so you go ahead and write that part in.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, wow. That's a good detail right there. I kind of laugh, but it's not that it's funny. It's more painful, but it is kind of funny in a way how we've all been there, in that situation. Um, okay. No, that's fine. I think you oh yeah, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Even better. Yeah, you know what I like about that? When you changed it to that,
Mhm.
that makes it more suspenseful and more immediate for the reader. Because when we're writing, we want to just throw them in the action. So, and you've done a good job of that, I think. Like the reader knows about as much as you do, right?
Yeah.
And you know about as much as the reader knows. So it's like the reader's in your skin, right?
Mhm.
Um, okay. All right. This is interesting. I've never seen this before. Um, you have actually two flashbacks. You have a flashback from the present, and it's followed by an earlier flashback.
I don't know how to change that.
Right. I mean, yeah, let me think this through for a second.
Mhm.
It's um let's do this. This is a good point to actually take a 2 minute break. Let's take a break until 7:47.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was thinking we always need a break anyway, especially when you're creating.
Mhm.
Um, and so if you want to close your eyes, go to the bathroom, get water, um, go outside. What I would do, when you're creating like this,
Mhm.
um, you need perspective. And so looking outside of a window, if you can, I'm not saying you have to do this, but if you're going to go for like a drink of water and you're going in the kitchen and
Mhm.
you have a view, I would open up the window, like the shades, or you know,
Yeah.
maybe there's some place else you can get a view. Try to find something that's far away as possible. And so, anyway, not necessarily you need to do that now because you may want to spend your time getting water instead. So don't feel like you have to do that. I have to look out the window and look at the further side and wait. Um, in When you're actually working on this on your own and you have more time,
Mhm.
it's good to take breaks every 30 minutes or so. And if you do get stuck on something, you can always reach out to your mom. I think I'm going to add her in WhatsApp. I think I already added her in WhatsApp, but I don't know if she's participating yet there.
Oh,
But
okay.
I can create a group where
Mhm.
um, you can send messages there and your mom can see everything.
Sure.
But anyway, so if you do get stuck in the future and you're working on a story, oftentimes you never want to force it, but just it's always good to take a break and you'll almost always come back with a better idea of what to do. So let's break until 7:49.
Okay.
All right, so I'll see you in a
Yeah.
minute. Camera. Hi, welcome back.
Hi.
Hope that break was useful. All right, we'll jump right in. All right, so let's tackle this. And this is actually a good point to do a sort of I was thinking of brainstorm, but we might just think about this directly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a focused free write about this on paper. So you may want to do a focused free write too. So what a focused free write is when you ask yourself a question on paper and you can say, how do I handle this flashback?
Hmm.
And then what you do is you just start to doodle on paper, not doodle, but you start to write the answer. But the reason why I call it focused free write, and I learned this from Bard College in New York, is because it's you allow your mind to just wander and veer off the subject and go off the path. So if answering a question was like being on a two-lane highway, feel free to get off the exit, if you will, and then go down a side road and then come back on that freeway. Um, because oftentimes you'll find that your mind is wanting to take you in a certain direction, and you might find yourself talking about sandwiches for some odd reason and Philadelphia cheesesteak, and then find yourself coming back to the answer to the question of what you do with this. And it's all okay, right? Um, so I'm going to take a chance on this kind of activity,
Hmm.
although we might end up with nothing, right? But it's something that I use on a frequent basis. So feel free to answer the question directly or let your mind wander. And you might write stuff like, and I'll give you an example of a free write, a focused free write. So a classic free write is something like bird, song. I love my mother and her sing song. I am hungry, right?
Hmm.
It's very psychological in terms of the human brain basically just goes in all odd directions for no apparent reason, right? That's what a free write is. It's free association. What a focused free write is basically the only difference is that you're actually posing a question. What should I do with the flashback? And then you start typing, right? And yes, you can let your mind wander, but sometimes your mind will actually try to answer the question.
Hmm.
So you just have to kind of trust it. So you can do it there, or you can do it on paper. I'm going to do this on paper actually,
Sure.
and then I'll get back to you. So let's take a couple of minutes and try to see what we come up with. Right? You ready? So we'll go for a couple of minutes. How do I handle this flashback? Flashbacks. Yes. Yeah. I want to move it below. So it's one flashback. I could collapse it into. All right. Try to finish up, or just let me know if you need more time.
Uh, it's okay.
Okay, cool. So what'd you come up with? What were your thoughts?
I
Want to
was
read?
thinking that we could add this between between the second last and last paragraph of like the 2 months and 3 years later, because like in between that, like the second last paragraph is like me boarding the plane after.
So just put it in its
Yeah.
proper place.
Yeah.
Take that, take that part of it where you're opening it up and actually fit it into the
Yeah.
wherever it was chronologically in the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and let me share what I was thinking. I like that actually. I like that. That's excellent. Um, so I wrote down, I think what we could do, we could make this part.
Mhm.
Let me see here. Okay, I gotta share. Yeah, make this part here. Um, you could remark upon that, um, perhaps referring to it here. My mind went back to 2 years earlier when I had gotten the shock of learning that I was in the crochet club. Yeah, I mean, that's a way to kind of just transition and take care of this so that you're not dealing with two flashbacks
Yeah.
because it's kind of awkward for the reader. I don't usually, I can't recall when I've seen a flashback within a flashback. Although it does happen, but it's just like walking a
Yeah.
tightrope when you don't have to, right? Um, okay, so you could remove this. Okay, oops. All right, there we go. All right, so you can go ahead and do that. You can place it wherever you'd like. And then I have some thoughts about the flashback itself when you're done.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know. Oh, okay. I don't know if you're waiting for me.
I'm trying to like
Trying to
think
like
of
think of
like
like
I haven't
I
used from
haven't
other
used
this.
this.
Sure.
Okay. Is that is that how you want it?
Eh,
Mm,
it's okay.
okay.
I need
Okay.
to
I need
like
to
these two. I need to fix.
yeah. Um, let's I do have a question. So I know there's a lot going on.
Hmm.
Um, I can see you're working on that, and I'd like to give you that time. I also want to give you some, I want to properly close our session
Hmm.
so that we have a clear target for, next time. Um, and then what I do have a question about the story itself. So let's do that in about a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to look at the calendar and I'm going to kind of see how many more weeks we have. And I think it'd be off. I think it'd be really cool some to even go with another story
Sure.
starting at the end of this week, if not next week. Because I want to give you a chance to have some variety, and I just feel like that's right for you to be able to explore
Hmm.
something maybe totally different. So we can definitely do that. Looks like okay, one, two, three, four, five, 5 weeks after this. Okay, it looks like an 8 week gig. Um, I'm gonna be. I think we'll probably end up skipping July, the week of July 28th, because
Okay.
I'll be in Cambria. Although it's possible,
Mhm.
I'll let you know probably by Wednesday. Let's see, during whether I can tutor during my vacation week, because I'm going to be out of town, but I don't know what I'm doing these days. So I think Tuesday we might want to move that to maybe do Thursday, Saturday, perhaps, and then skip the office hour. But you you can also always message me if you have questions. So it looks like we do have a good number of weeks. So I think we could possibly finish this. I would aim for this week, but at the same time, I think if we push ourselves a little bit, have a bit of a deadline. Sorry, I keep toggling back and forth between weeks. We're actually here. And if we finalize it somewhere in here between these two sessions here, um, office hour, you're not bound to that. You don't have to be there for that hour.
Mhm.
If, but it is your hour. You're entitled to it. So it's really up to you how you want to deal with it. So if you want to deal with, just bring questions. If you have other projects you need help on, I'm there, for anything like that. So um, that's this Saturday at 4:30.
Sure.
Um, so I forgot what my train of thought is, basically. So I think what we should talk about. Are you ready for a couple questions?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Yeah, I am there. Hello? Can
Okay,
you?
no worries. Yeah, I think you were just probably
Okay.
muted. Um, okay, here's my question with this. In the part of the airport where
Yeah.
the freezing airport AC chilled me despite the numerous layers I wore standing at the gated flight, loading the same page. So you were finding this out at the airport.
No, like in the airport, I was like signing up for the thing.
Oh, you were signing up for now. It makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Oh, okay. That wasn't clear to me. So I think what I'd like you to do for homework,
Mhm. Like I included the scene because it was like why I got the wrong thing. Because
why
like
you got what?
why I got the wrong club because I was like in a rush to sign up for the club and I didn't click on the right thing.
Is that why?
Yes.
Oh,
Is that not?
maybe that wasn't clear to me. Okay, so I'm gonna do here. Um, make make. I know it looks like I'm yelling here, but I'm just putting capital letters just so that it just jumps out. Um make it make it clear. The airport scene is about signing up for the photography club. You could even say sure. Um, and then the mistake.
Mhm.
You also want to make the so you actually signed up by accident for the crochet club?
Yeah, because it starts with the
Okay,
same letter.
right. Um, okay, what part here? Taking a breath, I sprinted through. But where's the part that you actually signed up for it? You press the button, freezing all my movements, barely hands, and 3 months later. Barely glanced at the screen before opening up the first name that came up.
Yeah, here.
I sprinted through. It's right there. Okay, so here's my just what I'd like to see as a reader.
Mhm.
Clearly show. Oh, do you want the reader not to know that? Is that kind of like in the moment that you sign up? I see what you're doing here. So you're not gonna the reader's not gonna know until about a little bit later.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, clearly so show that you sign. Oh, that's too bad. You still met Sandra though. Signed up. Of course, leave the club result a mystery until 3 months later. Okay, great. That's it. Um, okay, and here's another part I would do. So this is the homework is kind of in these brackets, right? It's whatever's in these brackets.
Mhm.
That seems like it's an action. The next thing to do, um, show your show any changes from not wanting the club to wanting it. It can For example, be from you learning how to crochet and from the friends you meet, such as Sandra. My favorite mistake. I'm sorry I didn't see this before. I'm a slow learner at times, but now I can totally see. That's incredible. Incredible story you've written here. Um, yeah. So that's it. That's the homework.
Okay.
So yeah, and after it's done,
Hmm.
um, so next session we will further refine it. Um, we won't spend a lot of time editing it, only because um, that's something you can possibly do on your own. However, I'm not going to neglect to talk about certain things that I see, such as talking about dialogue,
Hmm.
any story-like elements. But when it comes to the normal stuff, of course, if I see errors with commas, stuff like that, I'll definitely address that so that you get miniature grammar lessons along the way.
Yeah.
Um, because it's all about you having a story that's ready, ready for the page, ready for printing, ready for even publishing if you want to do that. And so yeah, these are all things I use publishing my own stories, and I published a lot of stories.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what. How do you feel about today? What was a good takeaway for you?
Like figuring out
How
how to
long I kept you after 8 o'clock? No, just kidding.
Oh, I just realized.
No, I'm terrible.
Like figuring out how to like go through something without like if I'm stuck, how to like go past it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. He's just put little headings. All right,
Yeah.
I will let you go. There's a lot more I could say. You have a wonderful evening, and I will see you in 2 days at the same time.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Priya. Take
Bye.
care.
You too.
Thanks for
Bye.
a great session. You too.